My name is Jasmine Tofa, Member of Parliament for Bulawayo Metropolitan under proportional representation. I am also the cluster leader for the Insiza by-election.
What really happened and what brings you here in this hospital?
We were doing our routine mobilization and we're doing our routine mobilization as well as inspiring voters to go out and vote. We had just arrived at the house, the candidate's house, Augustine Gumede's house, where we had brought some food for the teams that had gone out to voter mobilization. When we got there and gave the food to the team leaders, they told us there was no mealie meal. We then tasked Ntando Lela to go out and buy the mealie meal. And Angila Kala was also there, going to pick up the other teams that had finished with, with their door-to-doors. Within about half an hour of their leaving the premises, I saw Sengezo, a young man, a youth, by the name of Sengezo, coming running out of the bush with his hands up, and he seemed to be in a panicky mood. And I said, hey, there's Sengezo coming. What's the problem? So he then carried on running. So I thought maybe they had an accident or something. So he came close to me, or close to the house from the bush. And he says, things are not good, things have gone bad that side. So I said, what is it? And he said, look, untando labo mapanga sebechaiwe, untando selimele. So we said, what is it? He says, no, ngabantu bezanu bamchai. So I then said, hey guys, let's go out, let's go and help. So he says, no, you can't go because there are a lot of them. So I said, but we can't leave them for dead on their own. So he says, no, you can't go there. There's lots of cars, there's lots of people, they've got guns. So I said, but what? We can't just stand here. And then next thing I saw Angila Kala, he's much older. He was also running through the bush and coming, and he was saying, go and hide. So we're saying, no, how can we go and hide? So he says, go, it's bad, So he says, Nyawchela Tofa, Amanile Kacha. We then started discussing with the other people. So I said, look, we are safe here. We are at the candidate's house. I don't think that they would come into the yard where the homestead Umuziga candidate, because everybody expects you to be there and they'll respect the candidate's house. We then, whilst we were still discussing, and others, were talking, and they said, I think the councillor better go. At least if they do decide to come, he'll be safe. The councillor disappeared, and we stayed, and we thought, we're safe here. Nobody will come into the yard. Then next thing, we just saw cars driving in. They drove into the yard very fast. There were about 4 or 5 cars. We ran into the house. We closed the door. When we got into the house, these guys came banging. Vulanini, open, Vurai. Then we were still in the room, and he broke the window open. And now we were scared. And he said, get out, everyone get out. He says, Van Vedua. And when he said, Van Vedua, Vurai, come on, out. Then he looked at me and he says, who are you? I said, my name is Jasmine Tofa. Where are you from? I said, I'm an MP for Bulawayo Metropolitan. So as I was still talking, the next thing, the women and the people they were being pulled out of the room, and they were being beaten. And as I walked towards the door, I was also pulled out, and they just started beating. And when they were beating us, and they kept saying, "Honorable, from where? From which constituency?" I saw the other women being beaten in the lounge, and then we came out. They got me out of the house, stood me by the door, and there were like 2 women and 2 men that were beating me continuously. The one woman actually looked at me and made a sound, tried to scare me. So I looked at her like, what are you doing? And then they said to me, "Are you sure that you support Triple C?" So I said, "Yes." "Are you sure that you are supporting Ugumete?" So I said, "Yes." "Are you sure that you are selling out ilizwe lithengisa ilizwe emini kangaka?" So I said, "Yes." So I said, "But tell me, why did you allow for the candidates to go to nomination court? Why did you not just declare this candidate as, as the sole candidate?" And as I'm talking, they beat me. They hit me on my back here. They hit me. Can you see? They hit me on here. They beat me on my legs. There's bruises. You can have a look. See, they beat me on my backside, on my thighs. Then, as I was standing, the one guy, stood and he gave me a karate kick, which hit me right here. There's some pictures that you'll see that I took initially.
Is that how you get this black mark below your eye?
Yeah, you see the blue eyes, I think, came from this boot that I got here. And fortunately, I didn't fall. For some reason, I didn't even cry. They wanted me to sit down. I refused to sit down. They asked me to remove my shirt that I was wearing. And I said, "Why?" They said, "Because it's regalia." So I said, "We're allowed to wear regalia, but this is not regalia. This is my yellow shirt, and I've got nothing underneath. I won't take it off." In the meanwhile, the women behind me and the men around me were being made to take off their tops. The old women, some of them had no bras. Some had, they had to be naked as they were. They pushed me to move away from the door, and they kept hitting me. I've got marks all the way, on my backside and on my hands. And you see, like every time they were hitting, I was blocking. And that's what resulted in the fracture. I have a fracture here, and I have a fracture on my wrist. I think it's instinct for one to block when somebody's beating you the way that they were beating. It was so painful to see old people being pulled out and beaten. They spilled the food that was there, that was being cooked. They spilled. They took the meat. Everything was just strewn all over. I've got pictures to that effect. They were just randomly hitting people. They broke the councillor's furniture in the house. They broke the TV. They broke the lounge suite. They broke the asbestos sheets that he used, obviously, to build his homestead. And some people were running away, trying to get away from these guys, and they would call them back, "Come on, get back here." And they definitely wanted me to sit. Once you sit down, they beat the hell out of you. And I refused to sit because it made no difference whether I sat or if I stood, they were going to hit me. So I felt better standing.